Hello, everybody out there in social media world or watching this after the fact on YouTube. It is Wednesday, and that means it's time for us to go wow as we talk to another amazing woman that's just done some amazing stuff. So today I'm joined by Dr. Terri. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
I'm glad to have you. Now, Heartpreneur is your thing. So let's kick off. Tell us what Heartpreneur is, and then I'm going to come back, y'all, and give her bio and stuff, but let's dive right in.
Thanks, Tiffany. So my company wasn't called Heartpreneur. I've been in this industry for about 34 years, and it was called something else. And I was writing a book for a publisher. I met him in New York to go over the manuscript. And I knew him really well for like 11 years. And he grabbed the manuscript, he threw it on the floor and said, I don't want this book. And we had a contract. So I'm like, what? He's like, I've really gotten to know you for the last 11 years and you're a heartpreneur. And I remember I went, a what? And he's like, you do business with heart. I want that book. So I had to take a train back from New York to Philadelphia. It's not very long. However, on the train, I had one of these, I called it, I could have had a V8 moment. It's like, oh my God, I finally got what he's talking about. I literally went home, changed the name of my company, changed my branding, trademarked the word heartpreneur, and realized that it is all about doing business the way I teach, heart to heart, no pitching, no closing, no selling, none of those crazy DMs, and just doing it in an integrity kind of a way. So Heartpreneur stands for authenticity, transparency, and integrity. Thank you for asking that. Right up top. I love it.
Sometimes I'll listen to podcasts and watch stuff, and it's like, let's spend the first 5 minutes, and then I'm like, let's dive right in, though. I do want to come back because you have amazing stuff going on. So if it is your first experience here, let me tell you a little bit more about Terri. So she's known as the business mentoring expert with a heart. Terri is one of the world's top business and marketing strategists. She's known for consulting with business owners to help them move from ineffective traditional sales, marketing, and operational methods into effective, authentic, and transparent people-centered communication models. She's got over 30 plus years of business, sales, and marketing experience and has helped over 6,000, it's a lot, business owners reach revenue goals they never thought possible. She is one of the world's foremost experts on how to market a coaching business. She's built and sold several multi-million-dollar companies. She's the best-selling author of over 40 books. Oh my gosh, that should be a whole different conversation. How do you get that many books? And is a highly requested keynote speaker at events and conventions throughout the world. Love it. So Terri, tell us a little bit about how you got started. Give us your story. What makes you so wow?
Thank you for that. So I actually graduated college with a master's as a speech language pathologist. And I started my first business with no business knowledge, right? And going to school and in graduate school, they don't teach you anything about business. I knew how to diagnose speech and language disorders, and they knew how to treat them. So I started a clinic, bought all the equipment, and there I was sitting. And my husband and I had no money, Tiffany. We just got out of college. We had loans up the wazoo. So we were living in a community that we were not from. We're both from the East Coast, and we moved to the Midwest when he graduated. So I kept trying.
That sounds like an interesting thing. How do we both go from East Coast to moving to the Midwest? Like I hear people, I'm moving to Florida, I'm moving to California, I'm moving overseas. I don't hear a lot of I'm moving to the Midwest.
It was his job offer right out of college.
Okay.
We picked up.
There's at least a reason why.
Yeah, that's how we ended up there. So I needed to have doctors refer to me as a speech pathologist, and they wouldn't even meet with me. And finally, one day, I'm going to be very transparent. I got really ballsy. I sat in a doctor's office for 7.5 hours. And at the end of that, his staff was turning the lights off. They were getting their purses out of their filing cabinets, getting ready to leave. I'm still sitting there. This doctor walks out and he kind of screams at me, I don't know who you are. Get in my office. I ran in his office. I talked a mile a minute. And I made a deal with him that if he would just send me 3 patients to let me try, and if I suck, don't send me anymore. That's how it started. He sent me 3. From those 3, he sent me more, and I kept going to the local doctors saying, Dr. Lomax is referring to me. Oh, and then all of a sudden it built. Mm-hmm. So I started that business with no business knowledge, and I got really good at business, not at speech pathology, but really good at business. that company. And just to fast forward, I owned a lot of companies along the way. And now I had a formula. I was able to take one company from 0 to 88 million in less than 6 months.
Wow.
I'm not going to say that that's repeatable. I was in the right market at the right time, blah, blah, blah. So I ended up being CEO of a national healthcare company for 5 miserable years.
Oh, no.
I am not an employee. I just didn't fit in, and everything I wanted to do or change, they wanted me to sit in the employee seat, and I'm like, that's not me.
Ugh.
So I went to figure out what I wanted to do, and I went to a Mind, Body, Spirit program in Boston, a short flight from Philly. And I get on the plane, sat next to a woman, and she said, what do you do? And, that normal talk. And she said, I'm a coach. And not ever hearing of this as an industry. I said, oh, what sport or what team? And she said, no, I do life and business. And I go, what? So I got off the plane, got to the hotel, checked in, and started researching the industry. 2 hours later, I was enrolled in a coach training school. And less than a month later, I quit my job, and I was able to start this business using the formula that I know how to grow a business. I had 30 clients in 30 days. In my first year, right about 34 years ago, we did over 500,000 without me being experienced in the industry at all. And then obviously the company has grown substantially since then. So that's my story and how I got here.
Well, I definitely have to say, wow. Sometimes life takes us on unexpected pivots and things change. And whether it's like the world changed in 2020, or I was talking to somebody a little bit earlier, 2008, like those are the big, here's when the United States or the world changed. But sometimes it's those little itty bitty things that can make a huge difference. What kind of coach are you?
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting to me that just from that question, everything has changed. And I do mean everything. I work about 21 hours a month. I am devoted to my client family members. I'm devoted to my family. They come first. I have time for all of my personal things that I enjoy in life because now I have time freedom. And I'm a digital nomad. I live in Mexico for about 6 months of the year. I alternate between my home in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. And so what I have come to find is that I was able to create massive amounts of freedom and live my life by design versus by default. All from that one question. So talk to people that you're sitting next to on an airplane. You never know who's sitting next to you.
It's so funny. I was talking to my husband just this week. And when I go places, I never talk to anybody except for some reason when I'm on an airplane. Like when I'm traveling, I'm like Miss Chatty Cathy, and I'm never like that. He is like that all the time, except when we travel. It's such this weird.
Oh, that's interesting.
It is, because like he's the outgoing extrovert, be your BFF. I'm like, I'm an introvert. You're a stranger. Please don't talk to me. But when we travel, it's different. Yeah. So you never know what question that person next to you on the plane might ask.
Yeah, I always say this to my client family members: be open and be curious. You could be sitting, you could be in a grocery store next to one person who could make all the difference. Many years ago, my husband is an extrovert, and I really am an introvert. And I know people find that hard to believe. My preferred style is to stay at home by myself in the quiet. I forced myself to be an extrovert. It's a learning. My husband, he's Chatty Cathy. So we were in a restaurant, and the person next to us had broken their bottle of wine, and they were like devastated. And my husband reaches under the table and picks up, we always bring an extra bottle, I don't know why, and hands it to them. Well, they started having this conversation, and my Chatty Cathy husband, by the time we walked out, that person, he has been his financial advisor now. This probably happened 20 years ago. All from just being who he is and being open and curious. So I always say to people, your next best client is probably right in front of you, not probably sitting on the internet.
That is so funny. Sometimes we just have to stop and look around, smell the roses, see what's happening. Yeah. So what my audience, we've got the More Abundant Entrepreneurs community. Yes. What tips or tricks do you have in mind for the viewing audience on how to really move from being that transactional, operational into the connected?
Good. I love that question. So first of all, your focus needs to be on 2 things: building relationships, nurturing. That's it. 2 things. You don't have to get good at business, sales, and marketing, which is what a lot of mentors tell you. I have clients doing 6 and 7 figures that started at 0. I've got one right now that's done 68,000 in less than 6 weeks. Another that's done over 96,000. She's 9 weeks into the program. Now, that's not all because of the program. It's because they followed the program. And what I teach and what I say to people is start creating authentic relationships. You can't do that through email. Relationships are everything. I agree with you, Matt. You can't just go out there and like go all over social media dumping stuff and thinking you're going to build a relationship. So how do you build relationships? Well, the way that I do it and the way I teach my client family members to do it is to create a community. Now, my community is on Facebook, Entrepreneurs with Terri Levine. Create a community. And from that community, all you do is show up every single day. I show up Monday through Friday, every day. Value and education, value and education. In fact, I wear this little bracelet, and on one side, it says serve and create. I wake up every day to serve and create. When I'm done, I turn the got my check mark. I'm done, right? So I'm still in serve and create mode right now. So what do? I have that community. I go into that Facebook group. I add value. I do free training. I drop in templates. I give away my best content, period. It's all in there. I don't then pitch people. Hey, do you want to buy this? Do you want my program? I will ask people to do certain things if they're interested. Comment, let me know if you might want help. And every single day, we call it reverse marketing. People reach out and raise their hand. So, most people, Tiffanie, are hunting. They're constantly hunting for clients. We don't hunt. We have a conveyor belt of prospects every day. The second part of that, so that's build the relationship. The second part is you have to nurture. Over the years, I have had a large amount of clients that have come as a direct result of poor coaching or consulting or mentoring that they just paid for somebody else. And they come to me because they're like, well, once I bought from them, I didn't really, have much to do with them. I didn't even hear from them. In one case, the guy said he would message the person and wouldn't even get responded, and he paid $25,000.
Oh, wow.
Nurture. And when you nurture and you really love on your clients, my clients are my client family members. You and I were chatting right before we went live, and I said, the number one priority in my life is my family, and the number 2 are my client family members. I nurture those relationships. Most of my clients have been with me more than 20 years. Some of them have been with me since day one. Why? I keep nurturing and I care about them. And I tell people, once you're in my world, I don't care if you're paying me or not. I'm not letting go of you. I got your back. So those are my 2 biggest tips.
Love it. Love it. And Matt loves it too. He says great advice. It's true. Thanks, Matt, for watching. He is very active watching us. So glad to hear from you. If you have any questions, feel free to put those in the chat. So we've got a couple of things that we need to make sure that we're doing. And yes, if you're always selling, like, I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with selling. I mean, I'm trying to sell you on what to cook for dinner tonight. At least my husband, that's what I'm trying to sell. Right. Or what movie are we watching, or things of that nature. I think we are always selling, but it doesn't mean we have to be aggressive with it. And it doesn't mean that it has to be, oh, give me money now, give me money now. Just like, let me put it out there when you're ready.
Yeah, let me piggyback on that. The word sell is not a nasty 4-letter word. It's a great 4-letter word. And you made such a good point, Tiffanie. We're always selling, right? So my husband, you and I were talking, he had a full knee replacement, a total knee, and he wanted to go to therapy at a place by his office. Now, for me to get back and forth to his office every day is 45 minutes each way. I had to sell him and going to a place 5 minutes away because I'm still trying to conduct business while I'm caring for him. And so before I said a word, I came up with all of the different things I could say to him. That's selling. And then I pitched it to him, okay, and got his agreement. However, the way people sell, and this is the problem, is not relationships based. It's not transformation based, even it's transactional. I know you probably get these, and Matt, I bet you and anybody watching does. You get these DMs. I got a DM this morning. Hey, Terri, I can help you get your first client. I've been in the business 34 years. I've had over 7,000 clients now. Did you look at anything? You clearly didn't look at my profile. You're just sending that to millions of people and hoping one person is going to respond. I just delete you and block you. So give some thought really to how you would approach someone that you want to embrace and have a friendship with. And I always come from a place of giving and serving first to build a relationship.
I love that. I love that. It's so very important. Now, if people are wanting to learn a little bit more about you and what you do, where can we go?
Go to heartrepreneur.com. And when you do, we have something really cool for you. We just started this about a month ago and people are digging it. We have an assessment that you can take totally free. After you take the assessment, it just takes a few minutes, you're going to get a PDF that is customized just for you. And it's going to lay out all the things you're doing well in business and any areas that you may need some help in. And it's even going to give you some ideas on what you can go ahead and implement. So go ahead and take the quick assessment.
Love it. Love it. And I've put it there on the screen, heartrepreneur.com. Now, one other thing I do want to ask you about, and before we close, I'll ask, any last minute thoughts for the entrepreneurs watching. But I think you shared something about 6 figures in 6 months.
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. So about 3 years ago, I surveyed my audience and I said, what is the number one thing that you're struggling with? And they said, I still haven't reached the 6-figure number. So I dissected my entire coaching business from day one, everything I've ever done. And I put together a training. It's at 6 figs in 6 months, which is on the screen. It's totally free. Enjoy it. Just make sure you have a pen and a notepad because it's going to have a lot of great advice for you.
Hey, got the pen. Okay, I might need a bigger. Let me grab my bigger notepad. I think the other one's a little too small.
Love it.
Awesome. Well, I want to say it's been amazing getting to hear your story that makes us go wow, and your advice for the entrepreneurs. Any last minute thoughts you want to leave the community with?
Yes, because the word is wow, I have to share something. What I like to do is have clients say wow all the time. So even though one of my first coaches was Thomas Leonard, kind of the father of this industry, Thomas used to teach to under promise and over deliver. And one day I said to him, I'm not going to make any promises. I'm just going to over deliver. And that's what I want to say. When you do that, this is what you will hear back from your client family members. Wow. So that is my last tip that I want to leave you with. Just go above and beyond. Treat them as if they are family that will be in your lives forever and make the biggest difference that you can.
Awesome. Thank you so very much for being here with us today, for sharing your why as well as your wow. And we look forward to seeing y'all in an upcoming Wow Wednesday with another amazing woman. Thank you so very much.
Thanks, Tiffanie.
Yeah, and y'all, let me put that one more time. 6 figs in 6 months here on the screen. Go do that. You've also got the free assessment. Check those out. Thank you so